Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this demon is back in the news. I want to thank one of my subscribers, Kevin Smith, for this article. George Zimmerman gets 1 year probation after no contest plea. Some of you might remember he was making threats to a private investigator that was hired by Jay-Z, and he was literally stalking this investigator and made references about serving Beyonce and Jay-Z to the alligators and this investigator as well. You know, it is apparent nobody's going to do anything in Florida to this man. I guess they're afraid, or I guess nobody is just brave enough to go after him. So George Zimmerman is probably the safest man in Florida. You know, people talk about things, but it has been quite a few years now since the death of Trayvon, and he is just comfortable with himself. So comfortable that he is threatening the lives of people, and he just gets 1 year probation. So it is quite apparent no Florida citizen or the law or a judge is going to do anything to George Zimmerman. Let's get into this story. A Florida judge agreed to let former Neighborhood Watch leader George Zimmerman serve probation for a year after his attorney entered a no contest plea Tuesday to resolve a misdemeanor charge of stalking a private investigator associated with a documentary on the Black teenager Zimmerman killed. Seminole County Judge Mark Herr, probably a friend of his father, admonish Zimmerman, understand that words matter. Under a no contest plea, a defendant doesn't admit guilt, and a conviction is withheld if the conditions of the plea are met. Zimmerman wasn't at the courthouse during the hearing. So not only did he get this probation, y'all, he didn't even have to make the appearance in order to get the probation. Please counsel him, the judge told his attorney, Zara Umansky. Words do matter. The private investigator, Dennis Warren, said after the hearing that Zimmerman did not get the sentence he deserved. And he's right about that. He stalked and threatened the life of this private investigator, threatened to kill him. And all he walked away with, ladies and gentlemen, is probation. Like I said, there are Black men in this country that do far less, and they are locked up. But George Zimmerman has been in trouble with the law from the time of the killing of Trayvon and beyond. He's always in trouble with the law. Now, all of you that keep defending him, how is this private investigator bothering him? He wasn't. George Zimmerman was just upset that that documentary about Trayvon Martin was being put out. Nobody was bothering him. So, no, he did not get the sentence he deserved for what he did. Once again, he broke the law and got away with it again. This 1 year probation, that's not a punishment. Get out of here with that. That's not a punishment. Let's get back to this. The private investigator, Dennis Warren, said after the hearing that Zimmerman did not get the sentence he deserved, but believe we got the best we could. That's a damn shame. America, your legal system sucks. It shouldn't even exist. That's how bad it is. He said he had hoped the case would have been handled as a felony, rather than a misdemeanor. Like I said, it is very clear. Florida has already made the decision not to ever give George Zimmerman the harsh punishment that he really deserves. You can see this. The legal system already are always going to be in his favor. You should see this by now, everybody. And believe me, this is on purpose. The private investigator said he didn't think Zimmerman could get through a year without violating his probation. He can't stay away from trouble. He's toxic, Warren said. Zimmerman was accused of sending threatening messages to Warren. And guess how many he sent? Over 500 threatening messages. And all he got for that was probation. The private investigator was hired by a documentary filmmaker who was working on a series on Trayvon Martin, the black teen, who was fatally shot by Zimmerman in 2012. Zimmerman, who identifies as Hispanic, whatever, what does that got to do with anything? He's still a scumbag, was acquitted of all charges in the case, which raised questions about race and Florida's stand your ground law, which everybody seems to be able to use except for black people. Self-defense law. The law allows people to use force without retreating if they feel threatened. Critics say the law allows black men to be victimized by gun violence, and I agree. And technically, Florida really don't need a stand your ground law at all. You know, the other laws in place when it comes down to homicides and murder and manslaughter, that really should be sufficient enough. It really should. It should be sufficient enough. You don't really technically need stand your ground. Many other states in the union are surviving without a stand your ground law, and Florida really don't need it either. All right, so the documentary was produced by rapper Jay-Z. Reading a victim impact statement in court, Warren said Zimmerman made scores of harassing emails and telephone calls threatening the private investigator and his family starting last December. The threats included details about his life that few people knew, such as where he was traveling and on what airline, said Warren, who got extra security for his house. So Zimmerman was able to find out all this information on this man, his family, his whereabouts, everything, and was threatening him with it. The threats were for me to immediately stop what I was doing, or he was going to harm me, said Warren, who added he believed Zimmerman still had the propensity for violence. When Warren started describing how he felt mistreated by Zimmerman's attorney during a deposition, the judge stopped him after Ubansky objected. So the judge was of no use in this thing. And like I said, see, the fact that George Zimmerman killed a black teenager, they are all in favor of that. And make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, this judge was too. That's why he gave him such a meager sentence. I feel your pain, Mr. Warren. No, you don't. No, you don't, because if you felt his pain, you would have gave George Zimmerman a much harsher sentence. Let's keep it to Mr. Zimmerman, not counsel, her said. He is going to be watched, and hopefully it will never happen again. Hopefully. What kind of damn shit is this from a judge? The only place the American legal system belongs in is a toilet that should be about ready to be flushed. Under the terms of Tuesday's agreement, Zimmerman has to report for probation by Thursday and can do it by phone. Again, what kind of goddamn punishment is that? He can have no contact with Warren and his wife for a decade. So you mean after 10 years, he can start harassing him again? America, your legal system sucks. Since Zimmerman, 2013 acquittal in Martin's fatal shooting, Zimmerman has had several run-ins with the law, including 2 cases of domestic aggravated assault. And these were women. Remember, his wife and some girlfriend, his ex-wife, I should say, that were later dropped. The judge expressed hope that Zimmerman would avoid making future appearances at the Seminole County Courthouse. We would like to not have to see his name for a while, Herr said. Well, this judge is about as useful as a pile of dog do. So George Zimmerman got 1 year probation, and he didn't even have to make the court appearance in that verdict. And he's supposed to report to probation. He can do it by phone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing but a second slap in the face from the legal system in Florida when it comes down to George Zimmerman. Not only the legal system, but the people down there that have let this go on all this time, you all need to be cussed out. But this is the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the way it is. This man gets to exist as if he has done nothing wrong. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I will see you on the next video. And right now, Florida, you are the sorriest state in the union. Peace, family.